Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm great, thank you. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
It's been a bit, I guess, a busy weekend and Monday,
Mm.
and then I'm like starting to feel a bit of a crash now. But
Uh-oh.
I think that's also too many caffeine. I like
Yeah, well,
just had
this is
my
true.
yeah, had my
That
morning
that will do it to
coffee.
you.
Yeah, I had like my morning coffee and then my pre-workout. I normally have pump, so I normally have a coffee and then Um, when I get to the gym, I'll have like a pump formula, not
Yeah.
caffeine pre, but I ran out and I didn't realize. So then I
Oh
got there and I
no.
like had to buy the pre that had the caffeine and then
Yeah, yeah.
come home for a work block, done some oxy shred, and then I forgot that we had a meeting. Oh,
Yeah.
oh your
Oh, hang
camera.
on.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay. We're good. We're good. We're good.
And then yeah, forgot that we organized. I thought it was a phone call meeting, but it was actually like to go grab coffee.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
So then
That'll
I
do
think
it.
I'm like, yeah,
You're like, fuck.
hit that tolerant where it's like, okay, you can't go no more. It's time to
Yeah, no,
crash.
we're jittery now. We're
Yeah,
jittery.
literally. How's your morning been?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a busy week so
Yeah,
far, but yeah, Mondays are always chaos for me. So
yeah, yeah,
Tuesdays I'm like, okay, breathe, just
yeah,
kind of get the things done that I didn't do yesterday.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, it's good.
I think that's what we did wrong. We like over planned today because how our routines like set up with like a Sunday, we kind of helps us set up for Monday and then kind
Yeah.
of follow through to Tuesday. But then because we had to do a little shoot Sunday afternoon and we normally
Oh
don't do
yeah,
that,
throws it.
yeah,
Yeah.
completely realized that then the stuff that we would normally do, we kind of had to do on Monday with everything else. And then of
Yeah, and
course,
you're
like,
like, oh, type that. I
yeah.
don't have time for
And
that.
then in a
Yeah, I
situation
get
like
it.
that, of course, then everyone decides to get back to you at once. So then it's like, then the day's
100%.
already gone out of control. And then it's like, now we're trying to play catch up. And then we're like, wait,
Yeah.
we're too busy now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't. I just
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, that's literally me. And then yesterday I finished my work day like on time for once. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm like slaying this. 7,000 steps I still had left. And I was like,
Oh
I have
no.
fucked up here. I
Yeah.
have fucked up. So
Something
yeah, I
always,
was walking into 6 p.m. and I'm
yeah.
like, fuck this. This is not good.
Yeah, yeah. There's always that weird give and take. It's just like you think
I know.
everything's been perfect, and then you realize, shit, I had one more thing to go.
Yeah, god damn
Yeah,
it.
always, always. Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you for jumping on and being able to be a part of this episode and share more about
Yeah,
you, let everyone listening to know more about you. So I'm really excited
thank
for
you for
that. So
having me.
our absolute pleasure. So we'll just kind of get straight into it, I guess, and let's take things all the way to the beginning. And
Oof.
for anyone that doesn't know, I guess you're a IFBB Wellness Pro, you're also an FMG Pro. So you've been in the sport, you've accomplished so many great things. So let's kind of
Yeah.
help people understand how did we get to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Okay, well, let's take it back, fuck, probably 14 years ago. That just shows my age if you hadn't noticed. Um, yeah, I was super overweight. I'm not a tall girl. I'm 159 centimeters tall. And I was probably capping about 85, 90 kilos. And I was super unhealthy. I was hanging out with a crowd that just honestly didn't value their health at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like I was stuck in this rut where I just had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had really no drive. I just was like so unhappy and so uncomfortable that I knew that I had to do something about it. So yeah, from there, I actually wanted to open my own dance studio, which is so random.
That's cool though.
Um,
I like that.
yeah, it is cool. It is cool. I was at uni at the time. I was working, was a studio manager for a pole dancing school. So I had a bit of background in regards to like business from uni and yeah, I was doing like this studio management and I'm like, I could do this myself. Like I could
Mm.
absolutely do this. And there was kind of a gap in the market in certain area and I went all in and like, bought all the shit and fucking decided that I wanted to do my Cert 3 and 4 as a backup just so that I
Yeah.
could have some kind of background there. And with that you have to do work experience.
Yeah.
So I had to work at a gym. And like at the time I hated it, but now I look back on it and I'm like, I'm so grateful for the manager that I had. He was the biggest hard ass in the world. Like very much came from an army background, just said it how it was.
Yeah.
And I was such a sensitive soul. Like I was such a sensitive soul. And he basically said to me, like, no one's going to PT with you if you can't walk the walk. And like,
Yeah.
it's all well and good for you to tell them what to do. But honestly, like, unless you can do it for yourself, like, you might as well not bother. So that's, I guess, when it all kind of started. And I was at this gym and I was taking group fitness classes. And in the end, the dance studio situation, the investor that I had, that all came crashing down. So I was like, fuck, pivot, pivot.
Yeah. Hard
um,
pivot.
yeah, don't even worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, so I was at this gym and I was being mentored by this guy, and he was, yeah, he was very good for me. But at the time, I was just like, this fucking sucks.
Too much.
This
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah. And so I started getting into my health and fitness and, focusing a bit more on my nutrition. I got out of the situation that I was in, the relationship that I was in, and kind of moved myself back into my parents' house, which was horrible at the time. I just was like,
Always.
fuck, I'm going backwards. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like that.
Yeah, but it was probably the best thing that I could do. I was kind of out of that situation and was able to really heavily focus on myself for a while, and was hanging around a good group of girls at the gym, and they all decided that they wanted to do an ICN show. And I was like, partway through my journey, like still had a bit to go, but I was like, fuck it. Like I've always been a very competitive person. I've always done heaps of sports when I was younger, like did literally everything and anything. And so I'm like, "Mom, I'm just gonna give it a crack."
Mm.
So yeah, committed to, I think it was like a 12-week prep, to be completely honest with you. And it's wild to me, like looking back on the prep that it was, like everything was done like on, I don't know, like PDFs and
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like I was following a PDF program, and my meals were like literally chicken, broccoli, and cauliflower, and it
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
wild. So yeah, I went to I was very much unsure of myself.
Mhm.
And so I'd committed to this prep, but I also was like self-sabotaging
Yeah.
hard. Like
Yeah.
went to Thailand halfway through, got absolutely shit-faced the whole
Yeah.
time, came back and was like, well, back to square one.
Yeah.
And probably had like 7 weeks to kind of pull it in.
Mhm.
And anyone that would ask me like, "Oh, are you going to compete?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, maybe." But
Maybe.
like deep down, I was like, "Fuck, I want to
Yeah.
do this."
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up committing to that. I actually I did bikini. I won my bikini class in that, and I had just had no idea. Like, didn't even know there was an overalls. I didn't know anything. Like, all I wanted to do, I did my bikini class, and then I just wanted to go eat.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of did that, and then that post prep was rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not great. So I probably put on 10 kilos in 2 weeks and just went full ham out of that. Obviously no background in it, like
Yeah.
no real support, stopped coaching straight away,
Yeah.
just had no idea.
But you know what's funny
Um,
about that is like when I think about like the time period, especially how far back it was, like it was really common to like that whole kind of reverse properly was not necessarily really a thing back then. It was like as soon as you
nah,
finish, just
no one spoke
rebound as
about it.
fast as you can and just shove all the
Literally, it
food
was just
in.
like go back to normal life.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And obviously my normal life was like I didn't know anything but binge eating and
Yeah,
like all
yeah.
the rest of it. So yeah, I came out of that and was like, wow, no, I'm not doing that again. That was horrible. So yeah, I was like, I'm gonna finish on top.
Yeah.
I got my gold medal, I did well, I
Retired.
slayed the bikini. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I stopped bodybuilding basically.
Yeah.
I still kind of like, was going to the gym and semi-eating well and kind of yo-yoing here and there. And then so that was 2016. So 3 years later, 2019, I got a brand new job in a corporate kind of place, and I had to move to St. Kilda out of my dad's house, and I was like, okay. I feel like my life is chaos right now. Like everything
Yeah.
was changing, and I was just like, fuck, how do I control this? Like, what do I do? So I found a coach and I was like, I'm going to prep again. I'm going to prep again.
Yeah.
Not the greatest way to do it. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, didn't come from the right place,
Yeah.
but that's fine. So yeah, I really kind of like lent into that to kind of gain some control back in my life
Mm.
and see if I could structure things
Yeah.
and yeah, like it went pretty well. I got my pro card in ICN. I moved up the ranks to sports model, which is yeah, it's an interesting category. We don't really talk about the ICN days to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, won my sports model pro card in ICN and wrapped that up with a Bali trip. Did the exact same thing as my last my last reverse. Just went ham. Not great.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely my bodybuilding career to start with was
A roller
built off
coaster.
just fucking going in,
Yeah.
going hard, and all or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then once I'd done ICN, I kind of decided that I wanted to move into FMG and that, oh, well, it was WBFF then.
Yeah.
Um, I really wanted to kind of prep for that and had found myself in like a new kind of environment that now that I'd moved and found myself a new coach and yeah, like had a really good community there as well. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do WBFF. Um, prepped for 2020, prepped for 2021. Both of those shows got cancelled. It was horrid. Again, got probably like 4 weeks out, they'd extend the show. So I'd be like, all right, that's
Yeah.
fine. It adds another 2 weeks. Get 2 weeks out, they'd be like, oh, we'll just give it 2 more weeks and see if we can come out of lockdown. I was doing all of this in lockdown. Like, luckily, I worked at a gym at the time, so
Yeah.
I could, kind of train, and that was my outlet through COVID and
Yeah.
everything like that. But yeah, every time the show got cancelled, I'd be like, well, I'm having 17 blocks of chocolate. Like, here we go.
Yeah. It's back to the
And
food.
just completely fuck it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finally got on stage in 2022, did WBFF, and really didn't know where I kind of sat because I'd never done the federation before, and obviously it's not a natural federation, so I was kind of like, ugh, I don't know. I'd been offered cycles and stuff and was really hesitant to kind of do it. So yeah, that was still a natty show for me, and
What category did you do?
I did fitness and figure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did both of those to see kind of where I fit, and ended up placing fifth in fitness and third in figure, and it was not my greatest showing, I'll be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, like I looked really great the night before and then got to show day and yeah, we hadn't pulled through.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't land the plane
but
quite
hey.
right. I said didn't land the plane quite right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we definitely didn't. No. And that was a really hard year for me. Like 2022, I moved from Melbourne to the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
I went through a massive breakup. My sister got diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a really rough year for me. And again, went into this prep being like, this is where I focus. This is where
Yeah.
I just control what I can. And
Yeah.
not the best place to first to do
Yeah,
that from,
definitely.
but that's okay. Like it served a purpose for me at the time, and kind of gave me the idea of where I sat in that federation.
Yeah.
And then the year after, I went all in on figure. I won my pro card. I went all the way to Vegas and did the world show. I came third in the world show. And then all the shit, I don't know if you know much about the WBFF come down, but
Yeah,
yeah,
kind
it
of
was
bits and pieces.
messy.
Yeah, yeah. Thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not it wasn't the best experience. So that kind of happened. I was like, nah, I'm not doing this again.
Hmm.
Never thought that I could do IFBB. Like, honestly, if anyone ever said to me I would be an IFBB pro, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, no. Do you know who I am? So yeah, I just always felt like I couldn't nail the conditioning. I couldn't get to the place that I needed to. And then in comes Justin, and he is my current coach. And honestly, he changed the fucking game for me. So he coached me partly to Worlds, and that was my best showing that I'd ever had. We kind of went back into a bit of a build, and then decided to do the Australian titles, which was last year. No, the year before,
Yeah, 20,
2024.
20, yeah.
Yeah, so end of 2024, won the Australian title, was super stoked about it, but kind of felt like I'd reached my peak with
Yeah, yeah.
FMG. I wanted to give them one more go because the Australian promoters for FMG were the WBFF Australian promoters. They're lovely. I used to work for them. They're great people. And so I was like, I'm going to give them a crack. Like, this is their first Australian show. I'm going to, support them through that. Did the show. The biggest problem for me with FMG, especially being a figure pro, is that there's just no competition.
Mm,
Like, there's not enough pros that are consistent with actually competing.
yeah.
And so, to get my pro card, I was against one other girl. To Worlds was decent. We had a good lineup there. But then to for the Australian title, I was coming into this prep potentially the only person competing in figure.
That's crazy.
And I was like, this ain't it, man. Like, I don't go through 20 weeks of prep to literally just be given the title. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a competitive person. That doesn't sit well with me. Like, I literally almost pulled out so many times. And they were kind of like, we'll put you on stage with the fitness girls and you'll still be the only figure girl though. So you'll still get awarded, the title. And I was like, nah, I can't. So yeah, last minute, it was probably like a couple of weeks out, I think another girl entered, and I was like, okay, at least I've got someone else that I'm
Yeah.
competing against. Like, at least there's someone. So yeah, I had, did that and kind of won that, and then just said to Justin, like, I just I can't just keep competing against no one.
Yeah.
And the only next thing for me with FMG would have been to do Worlds. And I'm like, I don't want to risk another, 20-week prep where potentially, again, I'm the only one or there's two people. And like, sure enough, there was only three people on stage this year.
Of course.
Sorry, last year. So yeah, I was like, I really want to kind of finish things off for me. And I feel like, I wanted a challenge,
Mm,
and Justin had said to me, like, why don't we try IFBB? And I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know that that's a good idea. But like, obviously, being figure in FMG, the category that would have made sense would have been IFBB figure. And
yeah.
I just couldn't, it didn't sit with me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't, I went from FMG where we couldn't even like take our hair off our back,
Yeah.
even in figure to a federation where I had to do a lat spread, and I'm like, oh, this feels so uncomfortable. I don't think I can
Yeah.
do it. So yeah, I was like, look, I'll happily do IFBB, but I can't do figure, and I'm probably not bikini. And he was like, let's give wellness a crack. And I'm like, fuck, I've never had glutes in my whole
Yeah.
entire life. Like, glutes have been my weakness. The one thing that I'm like, I just wish that I could grow them. And so he was like, look, if you trust me, we're gonna go into this build. We're gonna give it, I think we had 4 months to like really give it a crack. And that's what we did. And it was a great result, obviously. But like that was hard. Like I left a federation that I was super comfortable with, and I had built friendships there. And approaching that conversation of moving away from that federation was honestly like a full identity shift to me. And I was petrified. Like I was scared I was going to lose my friends. I was scared no one would support me. I was just like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. Then going into a brand new federation where I knew no one,
Yeah.
not only that, but then prepping for a category that I'd never done in my life. And also knowing that I would have lineups, like I would have
Mm,
girls that I was competing against. And if I'm honest, I was very much in that like big fish, small pond mentality
yeah.
with FMG because I'm like, well, there's not really anyone else to compete with. Like coming into IFBB, I'm like, this is petrifying, and this is going to prove to me whether I'm actually a bodybuilder or I've just relied on luck, to be
Yeah.
honest. So yeah, we decided to do South Australia as a little bit of a warm up just to kind of get an idea of how the shows run. And then we did Queensland's and then went to Nationals. I won all of my categories and I got my pro card, and it was fucking like
Crazy.
just mind-boggling to
Yeah.
me. Like I never would have expected that to be on my bingo card for last year. And then all of a sudden, just before my Queensland show, I was posing with Emily King, who is an IFBB Wellness Pro. Um, and she said to me, if you get your pro card, come to Texas. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's silly. Like that's not gonna happen. And I looked at Justin because I we had planned for this to be my last season.
Mm,
Um, and I looked at Justin and he was like, if you get your pro card, like we
why
can we
not?
can run it back. Like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't you? That would
Yeah.
just mean that you've absolutely ticked everything off the
Yeah.
like
You've done
you
it
that
all.
you could possibly do.
Yeah.
And we had kind of said going into Queensland, because the girls that I was competing against that, were going to be kind of my competitors, they were all in Queensland except for one of them. And so I was like, whoever wins Queensland is winning their pro card.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's basically it. And when I won Queensland, I was like, holy
This
shit.
is it.
Like this could actually be a
Yeah,
possibility. And so we started looking at things for Texas, and I was like, oh my God, like this is wild. It's been such a roller coaster of
yeah.
a final kind of showing. So yeah, won my pro card, and then I think 6 or so weeks later, we went to Tampa first and did my first pro show in Tampa. I placed 14th,
Mhm.
which was super fucking uncomfortable for me because I'm like, I am no longer the best.
Yeah.
Like,
You've now
this
become the
is
small
re-
fish.
yeah. And like honestly, when I went there, I was like, I am bikini. I was wellness in Australia, but I am bikini in America. Like this is the girls are fucking unreal. Like, yeah, it was insane. But to compete with people that I've looked up
Mm,
to, like, even to do the Texas show with Emily, like
mm.
that was a crazy experience for me. And obviously I did Texas with well, Matt came over
Yeah,
with me for the whole pro tour as well, and he did his shows. And yeah, it was a wild time. Like I never ever expected
yeah,
to do what I did and to accomplish what I did. And to be fair, I wish I kind of sat in those moments a lot more, because I look back at it now and I'm just like, holy fuck, man. Like,
a big year.
what?
Yeah,
What? So, yeah, that's kind of my competitive journey. And
yeah.
I am retired now, which honestly is hard for me. And
Mm,
it's been a really difficult process coming away from competing. Again, like massive identity shifts of me trying to figure out who the fuck I am without bodybuilding, big conversations with the people that I love, and realizing that I can still bodybuild. I just am not competitive.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm not competing and that's okay.
Mm,
And I guess, to give a bit of context, the biggest reason why I decided that that would be my last show, is because I know how far away I am, right? Like I did Texas and I came 12th, so I got 14th and 12th in my two pro shows. And I was meant to do a third show in Atlanta with Matt.
mm.
And I decided against it because I was like, honestly, I've been in prep for fucking over 12 months by that time. Um, and I felt like doing a show for just doing a show didn't really sit well for me. And if I knew that I was that far out of the top 10 already, I was kind of like, let's just wrap it up here. Like, let's wrap it
Yeah,
up here. Let's celebrate what we've been able to achieve. And yeah, like to be fair, I know how much would be required in the way of PEDs, in the way of spending time, building and um to get to where I would want to be if I was going to be competitive in the wellness pro stage. And I'm 36, man. Like I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been kind of back to back prepping for probably the last 5 years. I hadn't had a period in 2.5 years. Like
crazy.
I really kind of, we don't get paid as such
Mm,
for being a bodybuilder.
yeah,
So there was a part of me that was like, look, my business has been maintaining kind of on the back burner slightly for a long time now. I have had a fucking epic ride of this competitive journey, and it's probably time for me to get my shit together and like, balance my hormones out, see like if I can just live my life and understand what that looks like. And it's been rough,
yeah.
but we're kind of coming on the other side, which
That's
is
exciting.
good.
That's exciting. That is good. That is good.
But yeah, so that's a hugely long-winded last 14 years of my life
Yeah,
with
crazy.
bodybuilding.
Yeah, a lot, a lot, a lot. A lot more than
Yeah,
what I even realized. So there's a few
yeah,
things that I kind of want to, I guess, like stick out to me that I want to touch on. But before I do that, what I'm interested in is supposedly rumors, and I'm sure you've heard them too, is there might be a Australian, wellness show. So, and that, let's just say hypothetically that was, maybe in 2 years, that or 2 or 3 years, you know, is that I can 100% understand where you're coming from of like wanting to step away and really like refine yourself, put the business on the forefront, see what it's like to, like you said, it's been a roller coaster of 14
Yeah.
years. But is that
Yeah.
something that you have maybe thought about? Because then you wouldn't have to worry about traveling. At least you'd be competing with, other Australians. You've got
Mm.
quite a good amount of athletes now in the wellness
Yeah.
category. Like, is that something that, you know, could potentially happen, or you think possibly not?
Honestly, in an ideal world, a hundred
Yeah,
percent. 100%. Um, there is no part of me that wants to quit,
yeah,
that wants to stop competing, like not one bit. It feels like more of a should than it is a want,
yeah,
or a need instead of a want. And look, like as much as I keep saying I'm retired, Matt always backs that up with never say never.
yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
oh, damn it. So yeah, like honestly, if it was something that I could do. And I knew that I was bringing a better package than what we achieved at, the last pro shows. And it was in 2+ years,
Yeah.
potentially. Like, potentially
Exciting.
that could be on the
Yeah,
cards.
yeah, that's cool. I like that. I think that's exciting because it's funny. Like the one of the biggest takeaways that I kind of like see in like that whole journey is yeah, a massive like roller coaster, and I guess not being able to find that necessary balance. So it's like
Yeah.
it would be interesting to give you yourself that time to find that balance. See if that's like
Yeah,
because obviously bodybuilding is always going to be a thing for you now, and it's
for
just a
sure.
part of your life. And like you said, what you're learning at this point in time is how can I bodybuild without being competitive? And obviously that's hard
Correct.
having a competitive nature, but it
Yeah.
may help your body respond in ways that it hadn't been. So that's why,
Yeah,
yeah,
less pressure, kind of
yeah,
just doing it because I want to. Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely have thought about it. And it's not something I ever really stopped thinking about, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what that looks like. I guess like if it's an opportunity and I'm in a good place for it, like
yeah,
I would never say no to that.
time will tell.
Um, yeah, time will tell, time will tell. But yeah, it's been really hard because so many people have said to me in a not arrogant way, but like I'm at my prime. Like
Yeah,
I've literally just hit the beginning, and
yeah, yeah,
that's really hard for me to hear because I'm like, I wish I fucking did this 5 years ago.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
I had have done this 5 years ago, I would be in such a different place. But I was too scared. I was
yeah,
way too
yeah,
scared. And now, I've just kind of gotten into this and it's so exciting and I fucking adore this federation and I love this category and it feels like it's unfinished. Like I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like it's being taken away from me way too soon,
yeah.
that I'm also very conscious of the fact that like this is my body and I've got to live in this bad boy for like
Right.
the rest of my life, right? And she's been through a bit. Like
Yeah,
she's definitely been put under it.
yeah,
So yeah. I mean, look, who knows? We could get my health back, actually see some progress and if there was an announcement and
yeah.
maybe maybe there's a return. I don't know.
It's funny. It's so funny. So the last guest that I had on that I spoke to was Laura. Laura
Mhm.
Young, and
Yeah, love her.
it's amazing. And it was crazy. Like I didn't realize like hearing her how she came in and won her pro card and like I thought I didn't realize that she'd done it. I knew she was like a dark horse and kind of came out of nowhere,
Mm.
but I thought she had competed a bit before, but hearing
Yeah,
her stuff and her like
wild.
journey, like wild. But what's
Yeah.
even crazier to me is like I thought it would be hard to top that, but I don't know. I feel like you've topped that. Like when you really think about it, it's not just like one federation, it's multiple federations. And then
Yeah.
what's crazy for me is what I didn't realize was that you same thing. You came in and won. Like I thought you
Yeah.
had done one IFBB show beforehand, but now to realize that
No.
you hadn't, like that just makes it even more crazy. So it's like I get where people are coming from going, you're in your
Yeah,
prime. You really are. But
absolutely.
it's that kind of thing of that not having that balance for so long, I guess,
Mm.
has taken a toll. And it's that then that really
Yeah,
hard thing of trying to really work out what is the right thing. But I think understanding,
exactly.
this is the body you got to live in for the rest of your life. It's like seems like also kind of the best thing because you have ticked everything off
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
This is right, right? Like it's hard. Like I know that I'm one of very few people that have been able to enter their first season in IFBB and go pro,
Mm,
which is fucking crazy to
yeah,
me. Um, but I also, it's like you got to look at what's the end goal. Am I going to the Olympia? Like, probably not. Let's
yeah,
be real. I would need so much time. I'm, like I said, 36.
yeah,
Like I fucking could go into the masters at this point in time. Like that's not something I'm really that comfortable with.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I think you have to weigh up the end goal.
Mm,
If it's just to compete, like cool. But I'm not that person.
yeah.
I
You're
don't
competitive. You
compete just
want
to
to
have
win.
fucking fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I want to be competitive. I want to be up there with the best.
yeah.
And knowing, like I said, the distance between where I'm at right now and, where I'm going. And honestly, like I can't be hard on myself because I was never wellness before. And we
Mm,
built that in 4 months
yeah.
and achieved what we did in four
Amazing.
months. But I know how far I would need to go to get to top fives in
Yeah,
pros. Like to be in the place where I would want to be and that would sit comfortable for me, I have a lot that I would need to do. And I'm not saying that I'm scared of that hard work, but in this season of my life, it's kind of like, do I want children? Like, do
yeah,
what does my future actually look like? And am I willing to, make the sacrifices that would be required and put my health at risk to maybe not even get there, like
yeah.
to potentially keep competing and still be top 10. Like, do you know what I mean? So there's had to be like a bit of a way up in
Mm.
regards to where I would want to sit versus what I'm actually willing to kind of risk in order to get there. Um, yeah, it's been a hard process.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that it's good that you've got, I think, a really good support network, but it is, I think
Yeah.
that it's like, hearing a lot of other pros that kind of come in and out of retiring and things like that. It's like perfect example, like, even um like Emily's partner Matt, and like he said
Yeah.
he's done his last show, but then he said, "Fuck it, let's do Japan." And it's that
Yeah.
thing of like you never know. But it's like it's all that age and what life you haven't experienced, and the stage is always going to be there. So you might as well experience
Absolutely.
more life, see what happens, and then kind of go back. Because even like look
Yeah.
at
And
someone like again like bringing up Emily, it's like she went from same thing
yeah.
WBF to IFBB, but in between that too had a baby,
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
like so
And that's the thing, like
things can be
they're
done.
looking at extending their family again. And
Yeah.
like she's kind of in the same situation as me, like has kind of said, like, that's it for me.
Mm.
I'm retired. But like you just don't know,
Yeah.
right? Like I think we love this sport so much that
It's
the
hard to walk
thought of
away.
not doing it is like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's my whole, like, that's everything I've dedicated myself to
Yeah.
for the last 14 years. Like,
Yeah.
maybe not 14 years, but like the last 5 years in particular. And that's hard. Like, that's
Mm.
hard to walk away from when, that especially when you're on that path as well. And the same for M, like, multiple top fives. Like she's
Yeah.
that next step above me. And I can't even imagine being that close to where you want to go and just knowing that it's just out of reach and there's
Yeah.
other things in your life that you want to kind of focus on and it's fucking hard.
Mm.
Like, but that's all right. That's life.
That's right. That's right. It's the human experience. Got to just take
Exactly.
and give, take and give.
That's it. That's it. And you never know. You never know
That's
what's
right.
around the
That's right.
corner.
That's the best mentality. Just see what happens.
Yeah,
But
fuck around, find out, I always say.
yes, famous quote by Caitlyn.
Absolutely.
So something that kind of stood out to me a lot, and I want to kind of get a bit more into is when you kind of said it's interesting. So it's like when you kind of first started, you were like you said a bit overweight and you weren't kind of really you were at did sports and but you weren't really into bodybuilding or gym and
Mhm.
you had a community around of people that like you kind of realize didn't, I guess, prioritize health. And I think that's a
Yeah,
lot of people. I think
yeah,
sometimes, and that's what caused a lot of traction for just Gen Pop getting into the gym.
absolutely. Your environment is fucking everything, like
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
And then it was interesting to kind of hear as you kind of migrated through different federations and different processes of your whole competitive
Hmm.
journey, kind of this interesting, not give and take, but different communities. So like how much of
Yeah.
so when you did your so I guess when you got into started working in a gym and you started building this community around this gym and then that's like what they pushed you into doing the ICN because being
Mm.
competitive and kind of going, well, these are the people that I'm around now. What was that process kind of like? I guess like were you still friends with those people before or like how did you stop being friends with them and then moving on? Like how have you kind of juggled because obviously that was something you said you worried about too with going from FMG. You've built
Yeah.
a community of friends and then kind of going, now I'm going into a new federation. Obviously, I can still be friends,
Yeah.
but I'm not kind of going to be around them. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
how have you
It,
felt like dealing with all of that?
yeah, it's been interesting. Like the girls that I obviously did ICN with, they're all in very different phases of their lives now. Like I still keep in touch with a couple of them, but they're mums, they're married, they're, very much in a different situation to me.
Yeah.
They were like one show and done. Like that was their kind of thing. It was honestly probably more so for fun. Like there was probably 7 or 8 of us that all did it together.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, they've kind of moved on from that. And like I said, I still touch base with a couple of them, but guess through my phases of life, like I moved away from that area, then went into my next shows and I was working in an F45. So I had a big community there that like I was probably hanging around with more. And I was kind of the only bodybuilder there. And then moving into like WBFF, FMG, like they're very big on community. And, I met a lot of people that I, again, looked up to that I had followed on Instagram and, social media for a really long time. And it was really cool to be a part of that. And obviously moving to the Gold Coast, again, completely different, environment. And, I still speak to my Melbourne people and I still stay in touch with them, but like, you get different kind of groups wherever you like with whatever phase that I've been in and where I've moved to and all that kind of stuff. And I think the hardest one was moving away from FMG and
Yeah.
probably like I had a lot tied to that. I'd invested a fucking lot of money to be a part of that federation or to be a part of WBFF realistically. And I had an ambassadorship with a hair studio through FMG, and like we used to do marketing content and all that kind of stuff for them, and they were sponsors of the show. And so little things like that where I had to be like, hey, I can't be a part of this anymore
Yeah.
because I'm moving away from the federation. And from a business perspective for you, it doesn't make sense. And for me, like I obviously can't really add value to your business, which doesn't sit well for me. So had to move away from things like that. And like, there's always that thought of whether those people are friends with you because they're friends with you and they
Yeah.
genuinely fucking like you,
Yo.
or whether it's just kind of situational and like you're there and you're pros and they're pros
Yeah.
and that's kind of the way it is. And to be fair, like yeah, like it kind of was that way. Like
Yeah.
I've got one of my good friends, Imogen, who obviously is still an FMG pro, and we were friends well and truly before we both went pro in that federation. So that's been a sticker. But like most of the other girls, I don't really speak to anymore, and it's
Yeah.
probably more so I'm not involved in
Mm.
that kind of area anymore, and so therefore we just don't really keep in touch.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously entering the IFBB, people get to know who you are and I've definitely found a community with them as well. And that's been really cool. But like, yeah, I guess like with each phase and each move that I've made, like there's been a whole new transition of getting to know new
Yeah.
people and like, yeah, stepping into a different space with that as well.
How do you think that that's kind of reflected, I guess, you as an athlete and as a person? Because it's interesting to kind of as you said, you've obviously environment, like you said, super, super
Mm,
important. That's just
yeah.
no matter what. part of life you are in, your environment kind of
Absolutely.
creates who you are because that's who you spend the most time around.
Absolutely.
So kind of like as you said, when you did your first couple of preps, you kind of binged afterwards and struggling with all of that and kind of like I guess looking at it kind of what you've done in like you'd say the past 5 years, being super locked
Mhm.
in and being serious. I guess were there any times where you felt like you had to kind of move away from the particular community that you were in or that it had negatively impacted like if you were to take your community that you were kind of
Yeah.
in now or how you built back then, like you said, do you think you could have produced better results as an athlete and as a person?
Like community wise, probably not,
Yeah.
but definitely coaching wise,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I would probably say this season of my final FMG show into IFBB was the first time that I've done a prep for the right reasons
Yeah.
because I genuinely wanted to prep and I wanted to push myself, and I was in a decent enough headspace to be like, this is what I want to do. Not from a control factor, not from a place of like, I hate myself and I want to
Mm.
look better, not from a place of like, oh, I've fucking pushed it too far and now I need to like pull it back a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, like I genuinely just wanted to compete and like properly probably found the love for the sport, and not just from an aesthetics point of view, not just from you know external validation or anything like that, just because I felt like I was fucking good at something. And, I wanted to see where I could take it and actually challenge myself with that and see what was on the other side. Um, so community wise, like I don't think I ever let people dictate my preps that much other than coaching.
Yeah.
And, I think every coach that I've been with has served a purpose and has, done what they needed to do. Um, some of them have slightly scarred me, and that's okay. But honestly, finding Justin and like having his wife Jenna there as support as well, like that family that we've built
Yeah.
through Next Level Physiques has been like fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And just feeling like you belong in that sort of team environment has been really, really like monumental when it comes to like how I was able to prep. Having a coach who genuinely fucking believes in
Yeah.
you and wants you to challenge yourself and has your back. Like Justin has believed in me, and I'm probably going to get emotional, but Justin believed in me before I believed in myself.
Yeah.
Like he saw potential in me. I went to that man for training 4 weeks out from my pro card win with with WBFF. And like no coach would take you on at that point
Yeah.
in time. No
Yeah.
coach. Like they'd be like, nah, you're too far gone. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Too
not gonna
hard.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
way
want to
too
risk
hard.
their
But
reputation and everything.
exactly. He took me on, and like even to the point where the politics with WBFF at the time, like I couldn't give him the credit that he deserved
Yeah.
through that prep. And he still stood by me, and he still, invested his time in me, and like, said that he saw something in me, and that gave me confidence to actually like, not fuck up or
Yeah.
like really invest my own self into that prep as well. And so I think the coaching factor has been definitely the game changer in how I've prepped and how I've approached a prep. I never want to let Justin down. It's like the worst thing in the world for him to be
Yeah.
like disappointed. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh
oh
no, please.
no,
I'm
shit.
sorry.
Yeah, so like having that relationship with him definitely changed the game for me. And it meant that I was even more locked in to the point where, combined with his knowledge and
Mm.
in him getting to know my body and us, being able to work out protocols and stuff, like I achieved the best physique I ever have.
Yeah.
And that's I think as well where it's hard because I'm like, could it get better? Like, could I just keep could I just keep
Yeah.
going?
Keep
I don't
going.
know.
Yeah.
Shit.
I think
Yeah.
it's a really important point. It's like I think it's something that's not what's the right word? Um, under underrated is
Mm,
understanding the there's a level of respect. It's like having that
absolutely.
I think sometimes you get a coach because you know, everyone's getting coached by them and they're getting good results, and you want the result, and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily have you've not built the respect or have the respect for the coach. And it sounds like,
Yeah, for
and look,
sure.
I've met Justin. Justin's an amazing person. Like, it's
Yes.
crazy. Like,
He's
that was probably, well, Jim Belly was like the first real, I guess, bodybuilding-esque gym I'd ever been to.
yeah.
And he'd been there, but he'd probably
Oh,
been there longer than when I joined in like 2017. And like, he was just,
man is like a piece of furniture there. He's been there for
yeah,
like 15 fucking
yeah.
years.
But he was like, he always, like, no matter what, whenever it's like you saw him, he was lighting up whichever part of the room he was coming
Yeah.
into. He was always friendly. Like, my friend did his first prep with Justin,
Yeah.
and he like, wealth of knowledge. And it's awesome
Yeah.
to kind of see someone like that, I guess. Like, that's the type of coach you want. Someone who has
Absolutely.
respect, and then you
Yeah.
can give and as getting a client who can give the respect back.
Yeah. And I like to be completely honest with you, I have had like high level coaches that have, gotten results and all that kind of stuff. And I have fully trusted them
Yeah.
and, put everything into that and been burnt before. So for me to trust Justin, like, was a big thing. But he proved it time and time again. Like he proved to me that I could, and there was never a moment that I ever questioned anything that he said. And I would never, I knew that he had my best interests at
Yeah.
heart. Like Justin's the type of person that he's like, if I wouldn't give it to my wife, I wouldn't give it to you. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, well, fuck, you're not gonna fuck your wife up, are you?
Yeah, literally.
So, and like, I think that, going into World Gym Burley and I saw Justin, and to be completely honest with you, I saw his Jordans first and foremost. And I was like, that guy's a sick cunt. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go with him. Like that's gonna be my trainer.
yeah,
And that was kind of how we started talking. And then when he took me on at 4 weeks out, and like I knew that he knew his shit.
yeah,
But to be honest, at that point in time, like he didn't really have any high level athletes. He
yeah.
didn't really have much in the way of actual competitors.
Mm.
So I went in blind, just literally trusting that he knew his shit and that he had my best interest at heart and that we could work together. And the relationship that we developed, like that only allowed us to fully exceed what I expected us to kind of be able to do.
Sometimes that's the best thing that you got to do. You got to kind of, don't follow where all the
The
noise is and
trend,
where everyone
right?
is going, and just kind of
Yeah.
take a risk on someone that seems like, you could possibly gel. And,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Jordans was the sign.
Absolutely it was. I was like, this man knows his shit. We
Yeah,
got this.
he's got me.
And like obviously, like once I came on board, we've been able to, because of what we've been able to achieve, like he's been able to pick up some amazing clients
Mm.
and like we now have a exceptional team of athletes under him. And like that was all because I'm not going to say it's all because of, but like that's because I trusted him enough that he
Yeah,
could then prove what he was capable of.
yeah,
And like he was able to showcase like exactly what he could do because up until that point, he hadn't really been given the opportunity to do so.
yeah,
And so together, like being able to do what we've done, like that's grown his business, that has grown him as a coach. And like it makes me so fucking proud because I'm like, you are now getting the credit you deserve.
yeah,
Like you
literally.
were always this coach, but now people are seeing
Yeah,
the results of that.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
awesome.
we have a little family now and it's just fucking it's
It's
unreal.
wholesome. It's good. It's
It
it's
is
it's another like full circle moment in life.
yeah, for sure.
What's like, I guess, since kind of being a pro in different federations,
Mhm.
at what moment did becoming a pro change the way you view yourself as an athlete? Or do you kind, because as you said, you've kind of had this interesting, you kind of
Yeah.
had done preps for maybe the wrong reason because you were seeking control. So I guess,
Yeah.
like, at what point was it, that when you became a pro in FMG, or was it when you started doing IFBB? Like, or had you always just kind of had the same type of view of, I'm just going to give it my best and see what happens?
Yeah. To be completely honest, like I obviously my first prep I went in completely blind, had no idea what I was fucking doing. And I was just like, I'm just gonna be the best that I can be and see where that leads me.
Mm.
Um, And there's obviously confidence in being decent at what you do and getting the accolades for that as well. But I will say, like, obviously, I've always just wanted to be the best, and the best is to be a pro, right? Like in amateur leagues, like if you can be a pro, then like you've won. Like
Yeah,
that's
you've
kind of
done the
it.
job.
Being a pro has not changed my life,
Yeah.
like at all. I feel like so many people put so much pressure on themselves to like get this pro status,
Mm.
and honestly, you're the same fucking person. Like
Yeah.
nothing changes in your life. But I will say that getting my IFBB pro card was the one moment that I was like, I'm a fucking athlete.
Yeah.
Like I am an athlete. Up until that point, like in all honesty, like ICN, I was kind of like, yeah, like it's cool, but like whatever. Now I don't really even talk about that. Like if we talk about pro cards, I'm like FMG and IFBB are kind of the only ones that I
Yeah.
consider. Um, and even like with FMG, I was like, I always knew that IFBB was the top dog. Like I
Yeah.
always knew that that's where I wanted to be, and I always knew that was the peak of bodybuilding for me.
Mm.
Like you're treated like an absolute athlete with FMG, with the, well, WBFF mostly, but like I was kind of just a fitness model. Like
Yeah.
we were, you wear your crowns, you wear your sashes. It's like,
The little beauty
it's a bit
pageant
more,
mixed in there. Yeah.
exactly. It's like a runway, like I didn't really ever properly gel with it.
Mm.
So becoming a pro in that, it was like, it's just the thing that you do. Like, if I'm going to compete in this, I want to be a pro.
Mhm.
So, like, that was kind of what I did. And yeah, to like with IFBB, when I went pro, it was kind of like I went pro in a lineup of competitive girls.
Yeah.
I went pro in the top of the top for me in the federation world. And finally, I was like, I'm a fucking athlete.
I did
Like,
it.
I did
Yeah.
it. I'm a bodybuilder. Like,
Yeah.
up until that point, I was like, nah, I'm kind of part-time. Like, I'm a part-time bodybuilder. It's fine. I've achieved some things, but ultimately, it's not my life. And yeah, when that happened, it was kind of like a nice confirmation to me that to be like, yeah, you fucking did it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you got there.
Which is such an achievement that,
Yeah,
look
it
in the
was
sport.
huge.
So many people want to get that achievement and you were able to do it. So it's definitely a pat on
Yeah.
the back.
Thank you. Yeah. It's nice sitting in it now. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think at the time it was like I got my pro card. Very next day we were like back in prep. Like
Yeah, it
I
was
was
just like bang,
it's
bang, 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 bang. So
yeah.
it's like now being able to take that step back and really reflect, it's like, wow, I
Yeah, I'm
made
like,
it.
holy shit,
Yeah,
man. Like I fucking did
yeah.
that.
So something
It's
that's really
cool.
interesting that I think for anyone listening, whether they're first timers or they're people that have, you know, are doing one federation and maybe wanting to switch. So something that I think is really interesting, you've stated that you were kind of scared, I guess, to do IFBB a little bit, and you had, because you ranked it so high on being the top. And I guess whether that was because being so competitive yourself and then being in, I guess, other federations that may be
Yeah.
not as competitive of what you viewed
Yeah.
from that perspective, I guess, how would you kind of suggest to someone that, or even like to yourself, like, is it something that you, like, wish you weren't as afraid to do IFBB and you gave it a go? Like, how would you
100%.
kind of, I guess, the advice you would give to someone who maybe wants to give it a go is scared or maybe he's in that federation and wants to go to a different federation. Like
Yeah,
being
for
able to have
sure.
done both and exceed, what would you kind of, yeah,
I mean, the biggest thing stopping me most of the time with FMG to IFBB was you lose your pro status, right? Like,
yeah,
so it was a hard thing for me to be like, I'm the top here and I'm risking that to go down here to the
yeah,
bottom of the best pile.
yeah.
And that was a confidence thing. It was an ego thing for me,
Mm,
100%. Like, I was like, I don't want to be a small fish. Like, I don't want to. I have never really not done well in
yeah,
bodybuilding, and there was that potential that, fuck, man, like I might not be that good at this.
mm,
Um, but honestly, like now that I've done it, I fucking wish I did it earlier. Like, I feel like I was so petrified of the challenge because of my confidence, because of not really believing that I was a bodybuilder, that I deserved that.
yeah,
Um, And so, like, I think you have to step away from your ego. And if you want to compete with the best fucking people, like, you have to let yourself do that. You have to
Yeah.
give yourself the opportunity to actually do that. Like, I could have stayed scared the whole time. I could have stayed in FMG. I could have, finished out at my Australian titles, but I always would have been left wondering. And given that, like, throughout my whole bodybuilding career, the people that I had like as inspiration were wellness IFBB pros.
Yeah.
It was crazy to me to think that I would not risk that,
Yeah.
especially at this point in my career. But at the same time, like, I was like, I'm on the top here. Like, do I really want to, even doing the pro shows, I'm
Yeah.
like, am I actually finishing out my career at 12th? Like, is
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
doing when I've like done so well? And I could have wrapped it up at my pro card. Like, I could have
Yeah.
wrapped it up at the Australian title. Like, I could have wrapped it up on top, but I
Yeah.
chose to keep pushing myself and I chose to keep challenging myself because at the end of the day, if that's not what we're here for, then what the
Mm,
fuck are we doing, right?
that's
Like,
right.
you want the challenge. And I think for a long time, I let my ego control me for that
Yeah.
because I was like, well, if I'm not that good at this, then this has all been a lie. So, but yeah, like, if you genuinely want to compete against the best, I think you have to give yourself the opportunity to
Yeah.
do that. And it's not always going to end in a fairy tale like mine. Like, this could have gone very, very
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
But like, if you don't give yourself the chance, how the fuck are you gonna know?
Mm.
Like, you can't. Yeah, you're either gonna sit there and always wonder, or you take the risk and you are comfortable with the fact that that's something that you needed to do to challenge yourself.
Do you think that some of that fear stem from the fact that the beginning of, I guess, your journey and even while you're doing, WBFF before it got changed to FMG, that you had kind of done preps for the wrong reason in the sense that like you said, you kind of so much change was going on and you were still not having that proper balance and structure that you kind of was seeking that control to do a prep. Do you think that, I guess, had an influence on then, I guess, that fear being bigger than what it was after doing it and realizing that that fear didn't need to be there?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, again, I think that, I did my preps initially for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it was a control factor. And I guess like each and every time I did something like that, it confirmed that that was the solution, right?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I was able to do that and do well, it like built my confidence in the fact that like I had to win. Like, if I didn't, do well, even coming third and fifth, like, I walked away from that show being like, that was dog shit. I
Yeah.
can't believe you even embarrassed yourself like that. Like, for some people, that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
that's a top achievement for them. And I think my competitive nature at times like worked for me, but also worked against me
Yeah.
because that thought of not being competitive in IFBB and being actually just a mediocre bodybuilder, or, not someone who was actually that good at it, even though I'd confirmed all these times, that was petrifying for me. Like, that was so scary because
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't want to not be good at this.
Yeah.
So, I did whatever I could to not put myself in that position and test the theory, I guess.
It must make you, I know for myself, like it would like honestly make me wonder if like that recent dedication and you were able to, not kind of do things for the wrong reason, that it's like if everything was perfect back then, like
Oh
what
no.
could have happened? But I guess at the same time, it's funny. It's like you it's like I think it's still built character. I think it's funny. It's like it's maybe things like this had to happen for a reason because it
Absolutely.
was like helping you achieve the things you would have. Like for all we know is like you could have had the right environment, done it for the right reason, and then not done so well.
Literally. Like, I don't regret any of it. Obviously, there are parts of me that are like, fuck, I wish I started earlier. Like, if I was 26 right now, bro,
Game changer.
we would be full fucking send. Like,
Yeah.
that is not even out of the question. But yeah, like, I think I had to go through it. I think I
Mm.
had to. the way that I did it. And I had to learn with every single prep, I've learned so much about myself and, made changes to the way that I do things. Even like we kind of spoke about, selecting the people that I wanted to be a part of that like core group of humans around me. Like I've grown, I've evolved with every single time that I've competed and stepped on stage and learned so much about myself. And I don't know that I would be where I am if I
Yeah.
hadn't have gone through it the way that I did. So yeah, there's always going to be a part of me that was like, nah, I could have been it. Like I could have gone to the Olympia.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like I've still done some pretty fucking cool things.
Hmm.
Like I've achieved more than a lot of people can say that they have.
Yeah, like, I don't think a lot of people can say, "Hey, I'm pro. I went pro in three different federations."
Yeah.
Like that's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. So, and I don't think I give myself credit enough for that. Like,
Hmm.
even when we moved into the posing space and both Justin and Matt were like, you should pose people. Like, what kind of like what I don't have the capabilities to do that. And they're like,
Yeah,
you're literally a pro athlete. Like, how much more credit do you need? And I was
yeah.
like, you're right. Like, you're right. I probably can.
It's interesting. Like, where do you think has, I guess, this? It's like you've got such a competitive nature, but then at the same time, it's like you have this lack of confidence.
Oh yeah.
It's like where has that, I guess, because it's interesting. Like you would assume it's fascinating. Like looking at you as a person and the way you come off and who you are, you're very confident. You
Yeah.
very, I think you inspire a lot of people. I think a lot of people look up to you. And it's interesting to kind of hear the more that you talk that there is this part of you that feels not confident. Maybe not confident is the wrong word, but
I would definitely say that. I would
yeah,
definitely.
it's where do you think that's kind of come from? And I guess because yeah, that's crazy. It's like I think someone else who I think it's good. I think the right word is you're very humble, and I think there needs to be more people like that, especially in this
Yeah.
sport. Because I think some people would go, "I'm a pro in federation. Of course, I'm going to do posing." So
Yeah, no. No.
yeah,
Not
where,
me.
do you find like yeah, where do you think that I guess lack of confidence has come from?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for a long time I based my worth on what I was able to achieve.
Mm,
Um, fuck, I've worked on this a lot. Trust me when I say in the last 14 years, there's been a lot of self-development here. And yeah, I think that like because I came from a background where I was fat
yeah.
and like I was very unhealthy, I was not in a good shape. Um, I almost still have that mentality, right? Like I
Mm,
almost still, it's a lot better now, but like I almost still have that uh, mindset of
yeah.
being this bigger person, of not really truly seeing what is in front of me and
Yeah.
never being able to really sit in that moment and be like, you're not her anymore. Like that version of me is like it has shaped me obviously and like has put me in these positions. And I'm so grateful that I kind of went through that. It's the way, like it's the reason why I coach the way I coach. It's the reason why I'm in the position that I'm
Mm,
in today. But yeah, for a long time, like I never truly felt like I deserved to kind of be in that position, because I was like, you were the fat girl, like
yeah.
you. And so the confidence, when I think when you say like I come across as a confident person, I'm very confident in who I am.
Yeah.
Um, because of, when I was larger, I had to kind of almost have a personality.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I felt like I got lost in any
Mm,
situation. So, I was the funny one. I was
yeah.
the person that kind of like, yeah, had to develop a personality. So I'm very confident in myself and what I bring to the table. And, I think it comes down to my abilities that sometimes I doubt myself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, never been, even going into the Australian title, like, I remember that the start of that prep, I had full centered again prior to that. And then I was like, I can't be doing this again. Like,
Mm,
And there was so much of me, like I messaged Justin a million times being like, what if I just can't bring it back? Like, what if I actually just, what if we start dieting and I can't commit to it? Like, what if I'm not that person? And
Yeah.
he's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, what? And like, I know when I flick a switch, I'm on. Like,
Yeah.
it's a commitment that I make to myself, and I will never get on stage and be like, fuck, I could have been better.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, other than my first ever show, that's a different story.
That's
But
definitely a different story.
I will never ever run through a prep
Mm.
and eat outside of what I meant to, or, not do my cardio, or not do my steps, or not do my training. Like, I will always be the person that ticks the boxes and stay consistent with that because I don't want to get to the end of that and be like, fuck.
Yeah.
If I didn't win, if I didn't do well, that's on you. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable with that
Definitely.
whatsoever. So yeah, like it's interesting. I think like when you say the word humble, like I've always grown up in a very competitive family. Like my dad has always said, you're either first or you're last.
Yeah.
Like that's just when I was brought up, like as I was getting in through my childhood, I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, if I don't win, like
I'm lost.
yeah, I basically shouldn't have bothered.
Yeah.
So there's always been that competitive streak, but yeah, I think going through that transitional phase, like I wasn't always large. Probably from the age of like 19 or so when I got my license and started going out and doing stuff like that to 23 was basically where I lived a very large life.
Mm.
And that definitely took a lot of my confidence and I've developed that back very much so in the last 14 years, but I think there's still always that like little bit of doubt that
Yeah.
like maybe you're just not what you think you are. And like
Yeah.
imposter syndrome hits and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like I'm so glad you said what you said. Like I think it's something that's not talked about enough at all, which
sure.
is like it's like what was ringing in my head when you like started that was like that label that you put on yourself, especially people that I guess are for it's a common thing. It's like I know my brother, for example, my youngest brother. I know he's like that. He was a bit chubbier growing up,
Yeah,
and it's that thing of like I know that, and then like I guess looking at me, and then I'm the oldest, so the
yeah,
middle child, um, kind of similar, but he was kind of like in between. He was
yeah,
like, because I was really lanky and skinny, and
yeah,
he always kind of held that. It's like, oh, I'm always that fat kid. Like it's like you get that if you have that weird, and that applies to other things too. But it's funny. It's like when you kind of all of a sudden get that label put on you, or that's the label you put on yourself, it kind
absolutely.
of doesn't go away. Like it's always that thing that's like, at any point I could be that fat person again. So it's
Absolutely.
like, yeah,
Fine, like, and you're right. Like, I kept myself small for so long, right? Like, honestly, I think back to things and I'm like, if I just was that ego-driven
yeah,
person, like, if I just could have the confidence, like, I could have been something.
yeah,
But like, very similar to, through my childhood, and I always compared myself to my sister, right? Like, my sister is the most beautiful human in the whole entire world. I adore that woman with my whole heart. But like through our teenage years, we had a terrible relationship
yeah,
because he was the smart one, right? And so I was like, fuck, I've got to be sporty or I've got to be something because I will never be able to compete with her being
yeah,
intelligent. Right. And so like even through sport, like through school, sorry, year 11 and 12, like I always felt compared to her. And I always felt like my parents were like, oh, it's okay. Like you don't have to be that smart. Like, you know what I mean? And so I would dumb myself down. I would do all of the I did all of the VC subjects that got marked down. I lent into being the creative instead of the intelligent one
yeah,
because I
yeah.
was like, then you can't compare me, right?
That's right.
Then the wild part of that is that I decided to step on stage and get compared to every other fucking person on the stage.
Crazy.
That makes no sense. Like I would never ever choose to do that, but I
Yeah.
did.
It,
So yeah, like I think that each and every time that I've competed, obviously it's built character, it's built confidence in
mm,
my ability, but there's always like, I've never stepped on stage and been like, this is a shoe in.
yeah.
being like, I've got this. Like, even though we said if whoever wins Queensland is going to win nationals, I
Yeah,
was like, nah, man, I'm fucked. Like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to win this. So, but I think that sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you
yeah.
need that, like,
That
that push.
drive. It's
Yeah,
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 it's a separator. Like it's like that thing of people that, you know, people can sit here and go, oh, you were lucky, or oh, genetics is on your side, but it's still
yeah,
at the same time, there's that drive that you just have because of that where you grew up. Like especially like what you're saying, like even having that sister and you know regardless of like having that competitive nature, knowing and not wanting to be compared, but you will still remember that thought process of going, well, if I don't win, I'm lost. So then
absolutely.
and then having that to do have that thought ring in your head against your sister, like it's like that unintentional, yeah, I guess from a psychological point of view, it's probably a
Yeah,
bit unhealthy and it's like something that you want to
absolutely.
work through, but it's giving you that drive of like what you need to succeed and be the best in something.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely like I think I've always seen myself as the underdog, right? Like
Mm,
always seen myself as the one, and especially moving into IFBB, I was like, no one fucking knows me. No one
yeah.
like even gives a shit that I'm an FMG pro. Like they're just literally like prove yourself.
Yeah.
And I had to. Like I had no other choice but to prove that I could be the best.
Mm.
And so yeah, I think that underdog mentality is sometimes necessary. Like it's that driving force that's like, well, if you don't do it, then you only have yourself to blame, and I don't want to do that. So,
It's I think it's definitely a character trait that you've built and you've taken a negative thing and you've made it a weapon to
yeah,
do the best that you can do and live life. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for anybody listening. If they feel like they've got something that they're always kind of holding on to themselves, like turn that into a weapon to propel yourself, to do better, to succeed.
yeah, for sure, definitely.
What do you think is something, within the sport now that I guess you are retired, that has taken you the longest to accept or understand? Like, what's a lesson?
Um, I guess like truly, it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, there are parts of like your genetics that play a role, obviously.
Mm,
Yeah, like we know that not everyone is blessed to be in
yeah,
bodybuilding, but the difference between like the other person standing next to you, it's like it's how you apply yourself, and all you can literally do is the like tick every box and show up for yourself and be the best that you can be. That's all you can, that's all you're in control of. And so if you like how you apply yourself is is what you're going to get out of it, to be
mm,
completely honest with you. Like I think for a long time, especially through that first prep, as I said, like I cock blocked myself so hard because I was so scared of like not doing
yeah,
well. But I could have done so much better because I didn't apply myself. And, we talk about confidence and stuff like that. Like you truly do have to find some confidence in yourself and believe that you can fucking do it. Otherwise, you're going to continuously not put in the work
yeah,
or, doubt yourself. And it's just not a fun place to be. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
honestly, your mentality and your mindset is huge when it comes to bodybuilding. And I think this is where, again, your environment plays such a big role, and like, trusting your coach and like making sure you have that circle of people that believe in you, because
Mm,
there will be days that you doubt yourself, absolutely. And there will be days that you question everything that you're doing.
yeah,
But like you don't have that small confidence in yourself and the drive to want to be the best, then you're kind of like just paddling, and you're never actually going to be where you want to be.
yeah. I 100% agree with that because it's like someone who that has ticked every box and maybe it's come second and they've
Yeah.
only maybe lost to someone that has that genetic gift. If that person wasn't there, you would have won. So it's like, don't beat yourself up when you know next time you do the show, you then do everything else and then you don't have to worry about that person any
Yeah.
next time. So then hopefully there won't be someone who has that genetic gift that
Yeah.
you're going to win, or it's something as simple as because I think sometimes then that people get in their head about placings and it's like then they
Absolutely.
maybe either go too far or then they stop ticking the boxes. And the person that was maybe like fourth, then who actually made sure to continue to tick all those boxes and believe and had that environment, then overtakes you.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? You can't rely on genetics. Like you
Yeah.
can't, you still have to show up because at the end of the day, everyone on that stage has worked fucking hard. And that
Yeah.
is, I think there's such a egotistical, like almost, what's the word? Like arrogance about
Yeah.
some people that are like, I just deserve to do it because I've worked hard. And it's like, bro, everyone fucking worked hard. Like everyone put in the effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think that at the end of the day, for you to be happy or to walk away from that show regardless, because you don't have control of the
Hmm.
outcome, right? Like you literally don't have control of the outcome. All you have control of is how you step on stage.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that kind of really like it took me a while to get used to is that like it's a whole package.
Yeah.
It's not just like you can look the best on stage, but if you're walking around like Bambi on ice and you have no stage presence and you can't walk the walk as well, like you're up against people who have all of that.
Mm.
And so you need to refine every fucking skill. Like if you want to be the best at this, you have to work on those little one percenters. And like for me, I am very grateful that I get compliments on my stage presence. And again, like with that confidence kind of factor, I'm not me on stage. Like I am literally a whole other person. Justin and I call her Trixie, and she is just like I don't even know her, to be completely
Mm.
honest. She's like my alter ego. But like these are the little things that you need to think about. Bodybuilding is so much more than just your physique. And everyone's fucking working hard. Everyone is putting in the time and effort, and you need to have the X factor to be able to make something of this.
That is so important. I think people want to focus on one aspect
Mm.
and then not kind of focus on all the others. Or they go, oh, I've mastered this now, so now I'm going to focus on this. But it's like, hey, this needs
Yeah,
to stay there too. Like
bring
it
all
is.
this together.
That's why it's like, you talk about a package, and that's right. I think that's the best way to look at it. When you come on stage, it is the package that you bring, not just from how are you peeled, not from the muscles, also the way you are, like you said, your stage presence to like, you get marked on your tan. You can get
Yeah,
marked on the way,
yeah.
your makeup looks, everything.
Girls. Yeah, literally. It's
Yeah.
hair, makeup, it's how your bikini, like the color of your bikini, like all of these things. And let's be real, like at nationals, I was not the biggest. I was
Mm,
not the biggest wellness girl. And so much of me was like, ah, that's it. I'm not wellness because I'm not the biggest. But it is literally the whole package. Like the
mm,
way you are on stage, the way you hold yourself, they're looking for someone who can represent their brand as a pro. So it is not just about what your physique looks like. You have to have the whole thing. And that for me was really difficult because like even with FMG, I hated posing. I hated it. Like I was like, ugh, this is so shit. But I was lucky again, I had the personality. So when
yeah.
I was on stage, like it didn't matter where my hands were flapping. I brought an energy that like, was needed for the I guess runway show that I was
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. The irony in it is like it's funny. It's like learning to have to have a personality or like
Yeah.
like for yourself because you felt like that fat person, so you went, oh well, I need to find something
I
that I
need to
can
do something.
be, so you were able to build this personality and be able
Yeah,
to take up presence and take up space and be this magnetic person. That the irony of that is that look how much it's then reflected and helped you now, because then,
absolutely.
like you said, on nationals you may not have been the biggest girl there, but because of that magnetic energy and that presence that you're able to bring out on you,
Is the
made you
package.
have that full package.
Yeah. And like we bought our best physique. And
Mm,
again, like that's all you can do, right? I knew I didn't have the size. And it was the same when we went to America. I knew I was not the biggest. I knew I was barely even fucking mediocre, right? Like I was definitely one of the smaller girls. And all I could do was bring the best
mm,
look for me. Like they told me at the end of it that I was too conditioned. But
mm,
when Jocelyn and I spoke about it, it was like we either come in small and soft
yeah.
or we make an impact with conditioning and show them that like we at least brought that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I was over conditioned, but it was the best that I had to bring given the circumstances. So yeah, like it's just you can only bring your best, but the little one percenters, they matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of shift the gear a little bit now because, you know, you are now focusing on your business and you are a coach. Kind of, firstly, like, I guess, what is the lasting impact that you want to make? Oh, actually, no. Let's make this like a kind of two-part question.
Okay. All right.
What is like the lasting impact and like what do you want to be remembered for as an athlete? And then how does that also reflect in as a coach?
Yeah, it's so funny you asked that because I think as well through my competitive journey, I spent a lot of my time feeling like I was contradictive, right?
Mm,
Like the way that I coach is, and my clientele at the time was very much old me.
yeah.
And I I was the coach that I needed back then.
Mm,
But what I was doing with my time was, I was a fucking athlete, right? But
yeah.
I never expect that of my girls in a coaching capacity, unless obviously we're in a prep.
Yeah.
Um, and so I spent a lot of my time being like, fuck, like I'm saying all these things to them, but then the way that I act is so different. But then so many people are driven by my determination, my dedication, like all that sort of stuff. And that's where my clientele was coming from. But I just spent so long being like, oh, there's all this chaos going on, and I'm coaching one way, and then I'm actually living my life a different way. Um, the lasting impact that like I want to have as an athlete is, I guess, like anything's possible, right? Like if you genuinely believe that you can achieve something, you absolutely can. Because from where I started, there is just not even a chance
Yeah.
that that girl
Would have
would
believed what
have
happened.
14 years
Yeah.
like in the future and been like, "Ah, I'll do that." No, not a fucking chance. So yeah, like I guess like I want people to remember me. Not a lot of people know my full journey at
Mm,
all, but like I want people to remember me for the way that I applied myself, the way that I dedicated myself to the sport and understand that like if you want it, you can actually have it, but you have to
mm.
be willing to work for it as well. What was the other part of my
Oh, and
question?
then and it's like so then kind of taking that, how do you want to transition that into you as a coach now and the impact that you want to be remembered for as a coach?
Absolutely. So like I guess the biggest thing for me, and again, this is probably coming from my like overweight girl mentality, but like for me as a coach, everyone has a different result they're looking for, right? And I am so dedicated to what my girls achieve, and I will invest myself into your journey as much as you do, and want that for you as much as I can. But I always want to make sure that my biggest focus is how I make people feel,
Yeah.
right? So, if you feel seen and you feel heard, and that's the game changer when it comes to anyone can give you protocols, right? Like
Yeah.
anyone can tell you how much cardio to do, how much fucking training and your nutrition and all that kind of stuff, give you a meal plan. But at the end of the day, it's so important for me as a coach to show you support.
Mm,
That's exactly what I needed at the start of my journey. And I think you can get so much further, as we've discussed, with your environment, with, having a coach that genuinely, it takes one person to just believe in you, for you to be like, you know what? Maybe I fucking can do it. Like
yeah.
sometimes we need that person to stay accountable to because we can't do it for ourselves. And sometimes we need that person to believe in us because we don't believe in
Yeah.
us. But having that one person can literally change the game for so many people. And so that's a huge focus for me always with my coaching. But I guess now that I'm stepping out of the competing side of things, like I want to start bringing in athletes and I want
Yeah.
to start, you know, I've never, again, we go back to the confidence thing. I have always been like, yes, I'm an athlete, but I can't prep someone.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Confidence wise, I'm like,
Yeah.
nope, don't know what I'm doing.
That's
Like,
so funny.
even
Yeah.
though I've done it so many fucking times, like I just never had the confidence. And I think only now am I like, you know what? I can do this for other people.
Yeah.
Like, I can help them with their stage presence. I can help them prep for shows. Like, I can foster the athlete as much as I do the person on their weight loss journey.
Mm.
And being able to, like, as I said, be that person that, like, genuinely allows you to step into the athlete that you want to be because I believe you can,
Yeah.
because I've proven that you can. So, yeah, I think that'll allow me also to, like, kind of be in the bodybuilding
Yeah.
space, having to compete.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you still be able to go to shows, be the stage mom, like do all that kind of shit. Like that is exciting for me now, looking to the
Yeah,
future.
that's crazy that you just it's crazy to think that like you like yeah had so much have had fear to coach athletes, but I think you'd be so good at it because it's just funny. Like again, one look at your track record, but not even your track record. It's just the way you handle yourself as an athlete that it's like kind of it's funny. It's like what Justin did for you, you can do for other athletes.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And it's wild because like literally, coming into my prep last year, obviously I didn't have the time or capacity to take on prep clients. But that was kind of where I was like, you know what, if this is going to be my last season, that's my next focus. And I already have 6 girls that are competing this year. And I'm
So
like,
exciting.
holy fuck. And like, it's such a nice moment for me because I'm like,
Yeah.
these people trust me. Like, these
Yeah.
people think, and I think that that's the same thing with clients. Like, sometimes as a coach, I need that person to be like, I trust you. Like,
Mm.
I know you can get me there. And that makes me want to work even fucking harder for them too. Like, it's crazy how like we seek that in each other, but as a team, like we can do so much more if we just are open, honest, and vulnerable with each other and genuinely like believe that we can do it.
Yeah, do you think that there's been a so how long have you been coaching for? Like the at what point in your competitive season did you start coaching?
So I started coaching in 2020 when we went down into lockdown.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I've been in the fitness industry for quite a
Yeah, yeah,
while.
yeah.
And did, PC, and I did a lot of group fitness and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Online coaching was 2020. And my business grew really quite quickly in lockdown. Obviously,
Mm,
being in Melbourne, I knew quite a few
mm.
people. People needed that help as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, like that was kind of pushed me into going online. And so that would have been when I was like kind of prepping, not prepping for shows because
Yeah.
so
Because
yeah.
what I was interested to hear was how do you think watching how you obviously evolved as a coach and obviously the impact of being an athlete has had on that, but then how has because obviously when you first started it, if I'm remembering right, you didn't
Mm.
have Justin as a coach yet.
No.
So how has, I guess, the coaching experiences that you had then apply to you as a coach? And then how have they, like, do you think the coaches that you've had haven't impacted you as a coach, or it's been more only, I guess, you as an athlete and the things that you've gone through and what you've needed?
Yeah, no, I think that like with any experience with a coach, like as a coach, you kind of take on certain ways that people do
Yeah.
things as well. And I think that's kind of evolved my coaching experience too. I think ultimately, like the underlying thing was that because I mostly did lifestyle, I always still reverted back to like who I kind of needed in those moments back in at the start of my journey, knowing that like me prepping was very different to lifestyle, right? So like I never wanted to be that coach in lifestyle that was like, if you don't follow the plan, you're out. Like that's not how I want to live my life in the
Yeah.
future as well. So, I really do lean into allowing my girls to kind of live their life and giving them protocols that are going to be actually sustainable. Whereas that's not what I was doing. And that's why I think there was that disconnect. But I think with every coach that you do have, you learn what you do and don't like and kind of bring things into that. And I suppose like even now, like with Justin, I've come on board with him working under his umbrella, like of next level, because I think that I can learn from him. I can mentor with him and I can be a better coach under him, just knowing what like the capacity of what that man has in his brain.
It's
Like
crazy.
I was like, absolutely, like, take me
Yeah.
on as a coach. Like, let's do this. So, I'll do a lot more in the way of not natural prep clients that way and keep my business very much down the natural road and lifestyle and prepping natural athletes. But yeah, like I want to learn more about that to be able to take that on myself as well. And I think he's the perfect candidate to be able to mentor me. So
It's exciting. That's exciting.
that'll be exciting. It's very
What
exciting.
what do you think has like what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that you notice or that you've experienced, I guess, like being a coach?
Mm. Yeah, like there are a lot of coaches out there, right? It's quite a saturated market if
Yeah.
you
It's only getting worse.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, like there are a lot of people who do their cert 3 and 4 and almost a little too overconfident.
Hmm.
There are a lot of people like I know people who have not done preps and yet are comp prep coaches, and I'm like, how? How?
Crazy.
And yet I'm sitting here like, nope, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Confident, can't do it. So I think like the biggest thing like the for me with the coaching space is like not everyone is the same
Yeah.
and you really have to gel with your coach to get the
Hmm.
results. Like I think that if you're looking for a coach, don't just go for the person that looks the way you want to look because it doesn't reflect their
Yeah.
coaching skills like at all. And I think that just because they can get themselves results does not always mean that they can get you results too. And there's a lot of people that like you're not for everyone, and that coach may not be for you as well, and that's okay. Like I think it's so interesting for me, like when clients leave coaches and coaches take it so fucking badly. Like
Yeah.
they literally make them feel like they're having to deal with a
The
breakup.
breakup. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's business, bro. Like
Yeah.
if you don't click with that person, honestly, like I have a 12-week minimum, but if I've got a client who's like, look, this just isn't working for me and I'm not sure that you're the right coach for me, I'm like, cool, babe. Like that is so fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be for everyone, and that is completely okay. I don't take it personally. It's a business, decision. And that's completely okay. But like get to know the person, do your research. Like just because they look a certain type of way doesn't mean they can coach a certain type of way, or just because they have 10,000 followers doesn't mean that they are actually good at what they do. Like there's so much out there now where I feel like we're losing that person to person
Yeah.
experience with AI and like all that kind of shit
Yeah.
coming through. That like it depends on what you're looking for. Like at the end of the day, there are cost-effective ways to do this, and then there's actual relationship building with coaching. Um, yeah,
Yeah. No, it's crazy what you said. Like, that's so funny. Like, one of my biggest things that I think about when I think about like a misconception is I think I do believe that you should, if I think especially if you want to do like be a competitor, like you should have a coach that's definitely walked the walk.
absolutely.
But what you've reminded me of, and I 100% agree, and that's something that's also not talked about enough, which is don't get a coach just because you want to look like them.
Mm,
It's like that's what's really fun, and I expect it's obviously really hard with social media, but it's like it's funny when you think about it's like when you think about I guess like this how mainstream bodybuilding has kind of become and like the influence of like we all love Chris Bumstead, but it's like people have just gone I want to look like him. So
yeah,
it's like and then people are trying to monetize off aesthetics and go well you want to look like me, but it's like doesn't mean
yeah.
that's a good person is a
Doesn't
good
actually
coach.
mean they're the right coach for you as
Yeah.
well. And it's funny because like Matt and I actually spoke about this the other day. Like you look at the top bodybuilders and their coaches, they're all like kind of chunky, bald dudes, like
Yeah.
bald dudes. And like, yeah, they might have been great in their prime, but like you look at them now and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. Do I
Like,
want to
dude,
coach?
have they ever been to the gym?
Yeah, literally. So yeah, like I think that, necessarily like what you look like doesn't actually reflect the way that you coach. And
Mm,
it's so important to like, for me, building those relationships with my clients is really important. And if you don't want to do that, like if you can't be open with me and want to build a relationship with me, then we're probably not going to gel well
yeah.
because the more I know about you in your life, the more I can help you. And that's regardless of whether I'm in an off season, whether I'm in a prep. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just me to
Yeah,
my core with it with coaching. So
very important. Open
yeah,
communication and that clicking.
absolutely.
What is a way that you have, I guess no. Wait. How have you, what is the way that you try and maintain balance and your mental well-being as like, being an athlete and a coach and juggling everything and like we said, mindset and like being in it mentally is such an important thing.
Yeah.
How do you juggle that outside of the sport? Like, is there particular things that you kind of do, rituals or mindsets, habits that help you kind of maintain that well-being outside so you can be a good athlete?
Yeah, for sure. I think like when I was competing, my shit came first.
Mm,
Like as much as my business is everything to me, if I was constantly thinking about the shit that I had to do, like, I'm working, I'm doing check-ins and I still have all these steps to do or I haven't done my cardio or whatever, like I couldn't show up as the best coach for
mm,
my clients. So it was so important to me to make sure I still dedicated my time. And, I had a prep client that said to me the other day, like, how did you do it all? Like, I don't understand how you did it all. And I was like, it was a priority to me. Like, I
yeah.
had to fucking do it. Like, I used to wake up at 3 a.m., not because I wanted to. Like, no one wants to do
Yep.
that. But if I didn't wake up at 3 a.m., I didn't do my cardio first thing. I didn't get some steps in before my 4:30 a.m. client. That meant that by the time I finished my PT clients, it was like 12 o'clock. And by golly, I was not having a bar of it by then. So it was like if I didn't do it, I would have lost my fucking mind and I
Yeah.
would not have showed up as the right person that I want to be as a coach. So I think taking care of my shit first has meant that yeah, maybe it looks selfish to other people, but to be honest, that's me being selfless because it
Yeah.
means my shit's done. I don't have to think about that anymore because it's not something I'm not going to do. So if I can get it done and not have to worry about it for the rest of the day, I can then focus on my clients then. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. I think like being able to, and that's something that like it's funny, like what you said. It's like I like we woke up a bit later today, and it's just funny how like something as small as that can then like, especially when
What's
you
the whole
have
fucking
been,
day,
throws the whole
bro?
day. It's like, didn't start the morning walk,
Yeah,
at like, it didn't happen today till like I think like 7:30, but it's like normally happens at 6:30 because it's like
yeah,
we'll walk for an hour, get the majority of steps in so that by the time we get to the coffee shop, it's open, have the coffee, walk home, get the
I
meal in, go to
know.
the gym. And it's like, great, I can now walk around the gym, get my last 2,000 steps in.
Exactly.
Done. Now I can sit at the computer all day.
Yeah, a
It,
hundred percent.
yeah.
It's funny, like so I wake up at 5 now, and that's just unfortunately just the way that my brain is. Like I have 2 mornings that I do a PT client and need to get up at 4 so that I can get my shit done. But like
Yeah.
if I don't, my whole day's fucked. I'm like, go to
Yeah.
bed, start again. It's if I wake up after 5, oh my God, I'm like the whole day's gone. I'm done. It's
Yeah.
basically like the afternoon.
It's crazy. Let's see like how important structure is and habits and routine. What do you think has, I guess, what is the biggest, what do you think bodybuilding has taught you that you've been able to, because bodybuilding is a lot of discipline, it's a lot of structure, and like we've kind of discussed. What do you think, you've been able to kind of take away to apply to your everyday life, and then I guess something that then you share onto others?
Hmm. It's funny because I coming out of this competitive season and going through this identity shift, I was like, you know what? I don't need structure. I don't need it. I'm good. Like that's bodybuilding and I'm moving away from that.
Yeah.
So I don't need routine. I'm just gonna YOLO my life. Honestly, chaos.
Yeah.
Fucking chaos. So I think like I thrive in routine and that has been very much highlighted through bodybuilding. Like And again, I think that's like the biggest thing. It's like when I'm on, I'm fucking on. Like
Yeah.
you give me protocols, you tell me what I need to do day in, day out, I'm fucking doing it. Like there's no way that I'm going to be at the end of the day being like, nah, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Do it. And so I think that that's something that I kind of definitely take with me in regards to coaching. Like your life improves when you fucking structure your shit and you prioritize yourself. Like it is so important for you to understand. Like I think so many people, especially like mums and stuff like that, sit in this guilt of like prioritizing themselves. You're
Yeah.
so much of a better person when you have done your shit, when you know that you're taking care of yourself and then you can take care of everyone else. Like you are not the best version of yourself when your life is fucking
Yeah.
chaotic and you're not a priority. So it's actually selfless to make sure that you are number one. And yeah, like that's just something that I guess through bodybuilding, like I've realized because trust me, when I tried to be like, nah, I'm good,
Go with the
I
flow.
was not good.
That's funny.
I was not good.
It's so true though. Like that's something that like I worked out a couple of years ago, and it's something that I'm like really big on. And it's funny when I talk to people that there's this misunderstanding of self-love being
Right.
selfish.
Yeah.
And it's
It
like,
is the biggest form of like discipline is the biggest form of self-love.
yeah,
Honestly.
yeah,
Like I know that they say that, I know it's so cliche, but if you can do the shit when you don't want to, when it's hard,
mm,
and you still show up for yourself because you're disciplined, you prove to yourself time and time again that you're worthy of doing that, that
yeah,
you can trust yourself, that you can stick to your word, and that you're like, you're a reliable person. So, like, yeah, discipline is, and self-love,
yeah,
again, like I say it all the time, you cannot fucking hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love.
yeah.
Like,
So true.
you really can't because I've tried, trust
Yeah.
me. Like, I have shamed myself. I have done so much in the way of like trying to come from a negative place and guilting myself into
Mm,
going to the gym or, whatever that looks like. But it doesn't work. It might
yeah,
work for a little while, but at the end of the day, you get pretty fucking sick of it.
yeah.
Only way that you can move forward is show yourself compassion, understand you don't have to be perfect and
Mm,
you are human, so you're not going to be.
yeah,
And like I say it to the girls all the time, even in a prep, there are things like, yes, I tick my boxes. Does it happen perfectly? Absolutely not. But I show up imperfectly regardless
yeah,
because I deserve that, because I actually care about myself enough and I have enough self-respect to know that if I can do these things for myself, I show up as a better version to everybody else.
yeah. It's like I like to think of it imperfect is perfect because it's like
Absolutely.
getting it, it's like, yeah, getting the things done no matter what, even if you're like, yeah, oh, something didn't happen in the morning because you planned your day out perfectly. But as long as you tick that box and then you at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, no matter how you got there, you've gone, I did everything, all the 1%, even though it was imperfect, you
Yeah.
you showed up for yourself, you got it
Yeah.
done, and now you just start again the next day and you maybe it works out perfectly in the right order. And if it doesn't, that's
Absolutely.
fine. It's
We
just again
pivot, we
showing up for
adapt, like
yourself.
we move forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the biggest things that like people forget is you like I hate to say it, it sounds a bit cliche, but like your body listens, right? So
Yeah.
you're constantly telling yourself that you are something or that you can't do something or whatever. You could be doing all of the right things. And if you're like coming from a negative space, then it's not gonna work.
Hmm.
Like this is fucking the main game changer.
Yeah, literally.
You sort that out, like the rest of it, it's easy. Like going to
Yeah,
the gym, easy. Nutrition, sometimes it can be difficult, but
yeah, yeah,
but like if you don't believe that you can do it, or if you constantly tell yourself you're gonna do something and then you don't do it, like your trust within yourself, it's dog shit.
yeah. That
It's
that that that's the key. That's so important. The trust within yourself. Build the trust in yourself. Yeah.
100% like know that you can rely on yourself. And I think
Mm,
that was like, a big thing for me. Like I constantly was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna lose 5 kilos. And like went for every fucking fast track I possibly could and could never stick to it. So at the end of the day, of course, I came from this place where I was like, I can't do it.
mm.
It's hard. Like when I started to tell myself like, no, you actually can, and then show up for the things that I said I was going to do, like I built a trust within myself to be like, I can rely on you. We can actually do this. And that's where like the confidence comes from. Like confidence is from action.
Yeah.
We're not just born with it, right?
Mm.
Like we build that through action, through relying on ourselves, through actually following through on our word. And that's so important. And I think that people kind of dull that down so much. And like it is literally the thing that's going to change it for you.
Yeah. It's definitely your brain is like it's like your thought process. It's like if you're negative, you're gonna life's gonna be shit. But if you be
Absolutely.
positive, and it's what's funny about all of that is it's actually what turns hard things and makes hard things easier. Doesn't mean it's actually emotionally or physically
No,
easier, but getting through it is easier because you know I'm doing it for the right reasons.
if you can shift a perspective on something, it can literally change your
Mm,
life. Like if you can focus on your mindset, like I'm gonna give you an example. When my sister got diagnosed with breast cancer, bro, I was like, this is the end of the world.
yeah.
Like this is the most horrible thing in the whole entire world. And we could have spent that whole time being negative,
Mm,
feeling shit about things. But at the end of the day, I was like, I have to find a silver lining here. Otherwise, this is going to be a horrible fucking time for everybody. And, I got to spend time with my sister. Like my sister used to live in Ireland and she had to move home to get treatment. And she moved into my house. Was that fucking hard when my sister, her husband, and her two kids moved
yeah.
into my house? Absolutely. But I'm like, this is priceless moments that
Mm,
I wouldn't have gotten unless she got sick. And like I know that that can sound really like dismissive of like the actual problem, but without that, without me kind of flipping the
yeah.
perspective, this would have been doom and gloom. Like
That's
there would
right.
have been no, gratitude for still having her there or
Mm,
anything like that. And yeah, like your mindset, and if you can flip the perspective of something, like it literally can change the way that
yeah.
you look at things and do things and show up.
There is always a better way to look at a negative situation, and it will always improve your life if you're
Yeah,
able to do it. And so being able to put in the practice and remind yourself, this is hard, but this is okay.
yeah.
What is the most b- best
What
thing
I'm
that can kind
grateful
of come
for,
out of this? And if I
right?
can focus on this, I can actually be present and enjoy it. Like what you said, like, no, it's not good that that happened to your sister, but then, both reflecting on, well, what's actually happening alongside this. We're going to
Yeah,
experience and creating a stronger bond. And, for all, for, what's the right word? Psychologically and subconsciously, that could have brought you even closer together compared to, you know, these things that she may not have ever known growing up, where, these
yeah,
bad little blood was there because you're like, I don't want to be compared to you. But then because
absolutely.
of that unfortunate thing, you've grown closer together. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and we're stronger than ever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if that hadn't have happened, we would not be in the same position that we
yeah,
are. And my sister is my best friend. Like,
yeah,
and we grew up fucking hating each other's guts. But like at the end of the day, she's my sister. And
yeah,
if I hadn't have had that experience and, being able to spend a day with her doing chemo, like all of those things, we have to find something to be grateful for.
yeah,
Even if you are feeling like your whole world is ending, there has to be something that you can hold on to, because when we look at all of the negative and we focus on the negative, it is all we see.
yeah.
And that's like
It's
no
bad.
one would
Yeah,
like that.
brain explode.
Yeah, it's literally just like, bro, this is nah. I might as well just go to bed. Like that's
Let's
it's
try again.
yeah. So like we have to find something, and I speak to the girls about this all the time. Like write down three good things that happened to you
Mm,
today. And it might have been the shittest fucking day of your life, but there has to be three good things. There has to
yeah,
be three things that you can go, you know what? The fucking sun was shining today and I
yeah,
got some sun on my face. Like that's something to be grateful for. Like there is always going to be something, even if it was the worst day of your life. You can find something, and it might be hard, but you
but it's
can.
there.
We can start to like bring those out and focus on those. We find so many more things to be grateful for. We
Yeah.
find More things to focus on that are positive.
Helps you lead a more happy life.
Absolutely. 100%. Nobody wants to be around a Neg Nelly.
Yes,
Nobody.
no way. Well, one final question to kind of wrap things up, and it
Mhm.
kind of, I guess, flows from what we were saying. So it was a great segue. Is how are you, what is, I guess, your 2026, life mantra? Like, how are you embracing every day? What is the motto that you're taking into
Yeah,
this year?
I love it. My big word for this year is opportunity.
Mm,
Everything is an opportunity for me. And that feels really exciting because it's like I'm opening myself up to a whole new world of things that I don't even know exist anymore. And like, I'm not just one track just the whole way. Like there are literally so many things that I could do, and that's exciting. It's overwhelming, but it's exciting. So yeah, 2026, like I already have a good feeling about it. And I
yeah.
feel like there's so many opportunities and things that are opening up for me just from like being myself, from the things that I've achieved and being open to those opportunities as well. Like yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
what I
it's
love about that is that's like perfectly encompasses what we kind of just talked about, which is like
yeah,
going from kind of stepping away from being a competitive athlete, and it's been this really hard shift that you've been kind of going through, and it's been a really negative thought process and a hard experience, but now you're kind of going, well, that's okay. What's the positive? All this opportunity I can now re-explore, retry, re-experience, see what I love, see how I can now go
yeah.
do other things because I don't have to be so one-tracked as being an athlete.
Work out what the fuck I enjoy. Like
Yeah.
what do I want to do? The world is literally my oyster. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I'm excited for the year ahead.
Amazing, amazing. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute incredible year for you.
It'll be good.
So thank you so much for jumping on and
Thank you for having
joining
me.
me. It's been an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure.
It was a long one, so I apologize to everyone, but I have a lot to say, so
No, yeah, it's been filled with so many gems. I think there's so many takeaways. So I'm like, I think it's good. It went for as long as it needed to be, so
yeah,
everyone could
so
hear everything that needed to be said. They've got to know you more. They've got to learn about you. They'll even appreciate people who look up to you and appreciate you will appreciate you even more, look up to you even more. And I think,
thank
like I said, so many takeaways that I'm like really excited. I think even things that like I said, things that don't even get really talked about. And
yeah,
and I love being able to be in opportunities like this where we can remind people that are listening of these things and get that more out there and get people thinking and seeing how they can reflect and change and make improvements, keep a positive, I
mindset.
want to build a community of just positivity and good stories and help
Absolutely.
people
I
get to
love
know
that.
people and share great
That's
knowledge. That's right.
right.
That's right.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity and the platform to be able to do so.
My absolute pleasure. Well, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your afternoon,
Thank you, you too.
and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.